No, he didn't get knocked out, and yes, people had suspected somewhat before, after losing to Billy Joe Saunders, that he might not really be the top world class. But Chris Eubank Jr.'s loss to George Groves earlier this year in February, for me, has got to be the flop of 2018. His father, the ever amusing Chris Eubank Sr., said as the ITV pay-per-view started, "I fear I have trained him too well." Just more ridiculous hubris along the lines of he's going to be better than Mayweather, and they really did just reap what they sowed. It was horrendous from Eubank Jr. No footwork, no understanding of distance, easily picked off. Groves' right hand wasn't even really working particularly well. I thought he was going to have to rely on that on paper to fend off Eubank Jr. when he went sailing in, but he won the fight with the jab alone, and the only time Eubank Jr. really had any success was in the last round, when Groves sustained an injury, a dislocated shoulder, which made him, of course, much easier to attack, and then Eubank Jr. went forward and did okay in that last round. Now, some people will say that it's a great fighter that makes the trainer, but if there was ever an example of a fighter really needing the help of a good level-headed trainer, it would be Chris Eubank Jr. It was an absolute fuckfest of a corner. You had Ronnie Davis, the previous trainer of Eubank Jr.'s dad, Eubank Sr., or English, if you want to go with that one, and they had a good chemistry. It's when he was a younger man, he used to slap Eubank in between rounds when he fell asleep. He would keep him as much as he could on the straight and narrow between fights. This time, an older Ronnie Davis was awkwardly positioned, ordered about by the dad, who shouldn't be in the corner. And just what is going on there? Absolutely no instruction, and always confident regardless of how well they're doing. It was just an absolute mess. And it makes it a bit of a shame, because ultimately Eubank Jr. is a fighter who does have the raw ingredients. He has what can't be taught. He's very tough. He's very brave. He was willing to really get stuck in there. But all throughout the build-up to the fight, the showings of the multiple uppercuts, that isn't boxing, as George Groves said. That's just posturing, that's just silliness. And you fear that pushing 30 now himself, Eubank Jr., he's inhaled all this so much of him being so great. He really is a chip off the old block with his dad in many ways, that he might not mentally be able to get over this. He is a delusional character, but different to his dad. His dad had a much better understanding of the fundamentals of the ring, despite his own eccentricities in the ring. The big overhand right that Eubank Sr. used to do, he used to posture around, used to mess about. Ultimately, his understanding of boxing was better. It was tighter. Watch the first Nigel Benn fight. That was pinpoint. That was very nice. He moved around the ring. We've yet to see anything like that from Eubank Jr. Still possibly young enough to do something about it, but it was so bad. It was painful to watch. He's just recently tweeted he's got a big announcement coming up. Maybe we finally will get that fight against Gennady Golovkin now that Gennady Golovkin's been knocked down a little bit. But this year, that loss against George Groves, after all the boasting, all the talking, and how terrible he looked, just purely boxing-wise, it will remain, regardless of what he goes on to do in the future, it's got to remain one of the worst exhibitions you will ever see of the noble art.